Oh my god. Oh my gosh, Chavo. Oh my gosh. Who's the star here, Chavo? Welcome to Prince Music Company in Southdale. I'm your host, Drew Cipolla, stage name System, and today on my show, we're accompanied by Lewiee Blaze. Lewiee, how are you doing, man?
I am blessed, man. Peace and love. Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here, and I'm very excited for this interview and this performance today.
Yeah, man. So like, I'll just you know, like, just chime into that, man. Like I was thinking about it on the ride here because like my stage name is The System in pro wrestling, but you know, I am the host. This is all about you, you know. So like, I try not to like let my stage, you know, impede upon other people's there. So I'm just like, you know, like,
that's actually your form of work that you're in. It has an art to it as well. That's one thing that I've been able to learn as I've been growing as an artist myself, is being appreciative of the many forms of art, right? And the different mediums of how we express ourselves. And wrestling, it has an extreme artistry to it. And when I was young, man, watching wrestling, that was one of the most entertaining things ever. So like, yeah, man, it's dope. So dude, I want to just salute you and your field of work, you know, because you got to be one courageous person to get in that ring. I know that.
No, absolutely. I love the lens I looked at it from that too. It's just like, you know, getting into any art form, pushing yourself out like that in any form, it really does bring like a sense of respect to all kinds of art form in that spectrum. Like I could like look at someone who's just like really into like, you know, like My Little Pony or something weird like that. It's like, who am I to judge, man? Like I'm really into pro wrestling. Like I watch like a shit ton of wrestling. I put myself out that. Who am I to judge that? Like putting myself into that art, it really just like gives me, you know, like a sense of respect, like knowing how much energy they're putting into that and like having that calculated passion for it. Like it just makes you look at stuff different. What do you think?
Most definitely. It's a lot of intersections within that. I remember I first noticed that when like one of my favorite wrestlers, John Cena, right? When he would come out, I noticed that was his song that he came out to. Yep. So he was wrestling and rapping, you feel me? Dude, then you started seeing him come in movies and everything. So it just, it gave me that point of view of like, we don't have to just be in this box. You feel me? I feel like society tends to put a lot of people in a box. But once you like overcome that and kind of like open your mind to new ideas, new ways of living, you know, you can literally do anything you put your mind to.
Dude, I was thinking about John Cena's entrance for like 15 minutes the other day. That's weird. But yeah, okay. But speaking of the box, what would you say is in your box that you're working on right now? I'd assume it's like music, for example. But like, what would you say is in your box right now, and what you're working on, and what would you say is out of your box?
Oh man, I don't think nothing's out of my box. I think I can do anything. They tell us the sky is the limit. I don't even believe in that. I'm out here in the galaxies, you feel me?
I feel that.
Dimension jumping around here, so that's how I feel. That's my mentality. But I tell people I'm a creative, I'm a storyteller, and I'm a visionary.
All right.
And I say creative for a very specific reason, because I don't just create music. I could create short stories. I create new ideas. I create business ideas, you know. It's a lot of things that I aspire to do as I grow and continue to.
Were you born that way, or was there a certain point where you're just like, shoot, I'm really like falling into just like,
oh man, I was born that way, man. When actually, I'm so happy you asked that question. So when I was in 2nd grade, I believe, I was going to Anderson Elementary. I was in like this little after school class. I think it was Avid or Get Ready.
Okay.
It was one of those.
And I'm from rural Minnesota, so if this is a burp, I apologize. But you know, where you grew up, is that kind of around the cities area? Things like
that? Oh yeah. So go back on that. I'm born and raised from the Twin Cities of Minnesota. I say Twin Cities because I lived in St. Paul, Minneapolis my whole life. Nice. Transitioned, moved around a lot. Never really had a neighborhood to really call home forever. You know, I pretty much got everywhere. But to go back to the story, at Anderson, when I was in 2nd grade, I literally like created this board game, right? It was based off of Monopoly. And just in 2nd grade, I created this board game, and I won this competition, and I was able to have dinner with like the governor and some amazing things. And that was just my creativity, because I always felt happy when I could use my imagination.
So was that just like a school project that got out of control, or you just like showed up one day just like, yo,
Oh man, actually, it was
Monopoly,
just
but make it like make it different.
Yeah, exactly. It was most definitely a project for our after school program, and we all knew we were gonna be in like this little ceremony, pretty much this presentation, if you will, and it was an amazing experience as a young person. Because as a young person, I was just doing it, you know, I was just expressing myself. I really didn't know about business or anything like that. I'm just in second grade. But now that I'm older, you know, it most definitely planted the seed. Like I probably should create another board game. Actually get paid for it this time.
Dude, I love it, man. No, that's awesome, man. Because I just started I started a job with a logistics company this month, and essentially I'm running trucks and stuff. And like I've been like as I'm looking for business and stuff, I was just like, oh holy crap! Like people are shipping a lot of board games, so I'd be calling up like like Guess and like Monopoly and places like that, just like send their stuff. But no, that's cool. When you created that, then were you thinking like, okay, shoot, I got a gift here, or like because this is mostly centered around music. Were you always doing like music beyond second grade? Does that run in your family? How did your culture start with that?
Oh man, that's a great question, man. It most definitely ran in my family. Rest in peace to my father, Lewiee McCaleb. I'm named after him. He was a phenomenal guitar player. He had his own blues band. He was the leader. They used to perform. I remember being a little boy, always practicing with them in the basement. That's actually where I developed my skill of rhythm at an early age. At 5, I would play the drums, and he actually put me on stage when I was 5 years old. Man, I performed at Famous Dave's in Uptown. Really? Yeah. I was so scared. Like they put the light on me and everything, and there was a lot of people there. And I like went up under my mom.
As a 5-year-old?
Mommy? Yeah, as a 5-year-old, man. Yeah. But
wait, so they're putting up there like, hey, 5-year-old, we're going to make you sing. Or they're like, hey, I know you've been practicing guitar. Like, you can give me something like.
Yeah. He prepared me. Like, I knew, I asked him, can I perform? You know, he's like, yeah, I got you. So once I got the song together, I practiced with him. It was the show day. And I was in the crowd, and it was time for me to come up to the stage because it was a whole thing. He like, all right, y'all, now my son is about to come perform this next song. So like, it was a whole thing, and I got
I'm sure they're behind it if they're seeing a 5-year-old going up there. Do you have footage of it? How do you think you did?
Man, I don't have any footage, man. I really wish I had some footage. Maybe I'd be blessed with that footage someday out of nowhere. Maybe. Somebody be like, wow, I think this is you from 2002. Yeah, I don't know. Sure, yeah, but yeah, I just
Famous Dave's in Uptown. We're looking for it, man.
Right. Actually, I'm pretty sad. They're closed down now.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. All right. So
actually, in the future, I would like to buy that building. Yeah, I like to buy that building in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a memory. I
like it.
Yeah, it's a stone.
No, that's awesome, man. Like, it's awesome how like your parents manifest like your musical talent like that, because that's where I immediately went. Is my great grandpa was a violinist. He'd play way back in the day when they didn't have sound for movies. They had their own orchestras like playing picture shows and stuff like that. That's what like my great grandpa was like, a violinist in one of those bands. And so like my mom knew like being a violinist ran my family, and so that's kind of how I started playing violin and things like that. Where I wanted to transition with that though is you've been creative like all your life, and you've had that artistic confidence just pushing you forward to it. The way it comes for me is like I kind of knew I had it started growing up, and then I went through like a phase in like middle school, things like that, where things get tough, and you kind of get not certainly depression, but it's easy to like suppress it and things like that. Did you ever have a period of your life where it was certainly like your artistic muse per se was kind of in a state of, I guess, pressure where you had a hard time finding it?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's very normal in our life, especially with the different backgrounds and experiences that we come from. I come from a family that dealt with being victims to the system, really. We dealt with problems with the child protection system, having our family being separated. We dealt with the after effects of generational trauma, so everything that I come from as a black person, and what my ancestors went through, and all of that trauma literally physically has been transferred in our bodies and really affect the way we think and how we operate now. And I noticed that my parents, they it was a point in time in my life where I felt like I didn't have a place called home, because my father was out of the picture when I was 8. So my mother was raising us by herself, pretty much. And I seen her to begin to struggle when I was in like 8th grade, transitioning into high school. And I say that was the period from like 8th grade to like junior year. That was the period when I really transitioned and like kind of got away from the creativity. And I got more, and like I kind of got stuck into this reality, but not my reality that I created for myself. It was the reality that was created for me. So these stigmas and these stereotypes that we grow up around. I began hanging around the wrong crowd. When I was 16, I committed a robbery and got on probation and all types of crazy things. But I'm very grateful for those experiences because they've been able to teach me lessons, you know, and I was humble enough to sit back and learn from those lessons and fix those problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So what is, you know, what I've been thinking about with that is, you know, where are you feeling pressure from? Like, in sense of music? Because I'm getting, like, you're in the galaxies, man. I love that answer, man. But you know, when it comes down to getting calculated, like, what does success look like for you? Like, maybe in the next 1 or 2 years.
Man, success, what it looks like for me is 4 simple things, man. Being able to do what I love, being able to do what I'm good at, being able to provide the world with what they need, and then being able to be paid for it. You know, I believe that us as individuals, we must be socially active. We must gain economical power. And living in America, we got to be politically educated as well, you know, understand the lay of the land. And I pride myself on those 3 things. And everything that I do, my business, my artistry, like anything I'm doing as an individual, is all gravitated around those 4 things. Being able to do what I love, I'm good at, what the world need, and what I can get paid for. I got it from this concept called the Ikigai. It's a Japanese meaning for reason of being.
So the Ikigai?
Yeah, Ikigai. Ikigai. Gai.
Okay. Gotcha. And I missed the second part. So the Ikigai.
It's a Japanese meaning for reason of being.
Reason of being.
Yeah, so that's my definition of success, man. I used to think success was having money, having cars, you know, all these things. And then I realized that those material things will not do you justice if you're not happy. You feel me? Like, if you don't have true love, if you don't love yourself, you know, if you don't got people around you that love you, you know, none of that means anything.
I agree, man. I love where you went with that, because, you know, having like a tangible number, you know, to hit a goal in a certain aspect of your life, in like, say, a job, or like, you know, I want to put out a specific number of songs or an album, like, the next couple of months, you know. I guess that's kind of where I go with it sometimes. But, you know, you know, in terms of setting your goals, I kind of like falling back on, you know, like, you are what you do every day. And so, like, I guess, how do you like structuring a system? Like, who do you hang around with, or like, what kind of systems do you put in place to make sure, you know, the situations you're in are to your advantage?
Oh man, honestly, I gotta work on getting the system in place. I told you earlier before this, I'm very free flowing and I go with the flow a lot. But what I've been able to do is just move much more intentionally. Being intentional with the words that I use, being intentional with the relationships that I have, and understanding that I have to follow my intuition. Like, we always got this gut feeling when we know something is right and something is wrong, right? And I found it very, very successful to follow my intuition. So I think that's like how I go with the flow every day. I mean, for some like concrete things, honestly, I've been getting very used to waking up, doing self-care stuff. Like, before I get on my phone or like do any work, I need to stretch, do some yoga, you feel me? I need to meditate.
Oh, so you're a yoga guy in the morning?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. I've been getting to it more as of lately. But yeah, man, I think those things in the morning, whenever I do those things, my days are always amazing.
Oh, hell yeah.
And when I don't do my daily routine, you can feel the difference.
So you're a morning guy? You wake up early?
I've been getting back used to it. Yeah, I feel like when quarantine hit, I started sleeping to the afternoon again. Yeah. Because like we was working from home and everything, and like, I was struggling with that. I'm a very like active person, but I'm not too much of a guy.
I can't say that I'm the same, man. I'm a hot docker, if you know what that is. Like, I'm, you know, if I got to be at work at 7 a.m., like, I'm hot docking it. I'm gonna make it there at like 6:59, 7. You know, I'm gonna sleep until, you know, 6:30 and make it there. Oh snap! Got a flamethrower going on here in the studios.
It's
Southdale Prince Music Company. You can get your violins, your electric guitars, and your flamethrowers.
Man, this is such a beautiful space. I just got to say that, like, the energy, the vibrations, the aesthetic of everything, the visual presentation, it's great, man. This is most definitely a blessing.
You can make a lot of things happen here, man. I started here. I think I did a show. I think I had my first showcase. What was it, Rick? Like a month ago, 2 months ago. When did we shoot that music video? You know, like
that was about a month ago.
Yeah, I just, you know, rolled up, saw the musical performance, and, you know, then me and Chavo went and just shot a music video, like, same day. You know, it's just crazy how, like, you know, you can just, you know, go from there. Just let your artistic mind, you know, just kick out the box. Be like, yo, let's go play violin in front of the Dave & Buster's over there and make a music video out of it.
Oh, that's dope. So you play the violin too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played since I was 7. I was, I guess, first violin, first chair my senior year of high school. Did a year at a Masabi Symphony Orchestra. Then went to college, dropped it for like 3 or 4 years, and then as I became a wrestler, it was interesting. Like a promoter just found out I played violin. They're like, "I'm not going to book you until you bring the violin." And once everyone kind of figured out that like the violin made me different, like it kind of. It counterintuitively, wanting to be a pro wrestler forced me to, like, you know, rekindle my love with it, and so now I've started playing with it. I recently invested in an electric violin, and that sort of made, you know, playing it a little easy. So it's, again, through pro wrestling, it's counterintuitively made me, you know, more of a player as I've gone forward.
Hey, that's dope. That's an amazing narrative right there.
Yeah, man. You say you play violin. What's your repertoire, would you say?
Yeah, not the violin just yet. I'm very curious, and I would love to play all the instruments, but I play the drums, I play the piano, I could do some on a harmonica, but mostly my main instrument is my voice, you know, the microphone, and literally my voice. I'm one of those poets, I'm one of those MCs, if you will. Don't need much, you know, I literally just need my voice, to be honest. And I could captivate the audience like that with my words. I'm a wordsmith.
When you're ready to learn another instrument, you know where to come.
Hey, let's do it.
We sell it, we teach it.
Okay.
Hey, if you didn't hear Rick, you sell it, they teach it here.
Come on now.
Southdale Prince Music Company.
Yeah.
But here's a selfish question for me then, because I do also view myself, you know, I'll be writing down lyric after lyric after lyric. I don't view myself as a singer. I was in orchestra the entire time. I do not do well with the spoken word on stage. I feel like that might have always been a thing for you. You were born into that. But is there any tips or tricks that you use to kind of, like, I guess, let them push you forward and get to the point of performing? Because I guess where I come from this is, you know, I think there's a lot of people with ideas in their head and lyrics on paper, but how do you get yourself out there to speak into a mic and in front of people?
That's a good question, man. Like, just that point on, like, any tips or any tricks, man. A lot of people tell me I'm a magician, man. A lot of people say, I don't see how you do it. But to be honest, Nike is one of the best. Nike is like one of the best brands out there, because with their slogan, "Just do it." I pride myself on that, man. Like, what it is, it's a mind over matter thing. I feel like, right? I believe we must.
As long as you don't mind, it don't matter.
Hey, I like that. Hey, Rick, with
don't mind, it don't matter.
Come on, exactly.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, what it is like we must be free of our vanity. You know, and if we are happy with ourselves, or like if we have like that self-confidence, it don't matter what anybody think or what anybody say. You know, you're expressing yourself, your full authentic self. And what I noticed is, like, at first I used to be shy and nervous, but when you add consistency to it, it just builds over time, you know. And then I noticed I get compliments from people, and that'll boost up my confidence, because it's like, okay, now I'm being seen.
True.
But it's really not wanting to be seen. Like, literally, we don't need an audience to be live, is what we call it at M4. We wake up and that's the show there. We don't need an audience to express ourselves and be great. I be singing at home all the damn time. Right?
True.
So like, yeah, it's just having that mentality, man. And yeah,
I like it, man. I like it. So you're saying I should start singing in the shower or something like that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is so liberating. Let it go. I know my neighbors probably be upset when I be in the shower.
Got you. So who are your biggest musical inspirations? Let's go there, man.
Man, that's a huge one. I'm gonna just say names, man.
You could go timeline too. You know, who you grew up listening to, who you like now. You know,
man, I promise you, like 20 years from now, when somebody take all my interviews and they bring this question up, you're gonna hear me say all types of different people. But right now, Tupac was number one for sure. Tupac, Michael Jackson was a huge one. James Brown was huge for me as well. I was an old school cat. So like that whole Motown sound and everything, and what they did at Motown, and Berry Gordy and the Temptations, and like those type of jams, I really grew up on that, and I love that.
Did your parents have records, tapes, or anything? Like,
no,
how are you finding
them? Those or anything. They just ended up in my household, man. You know, I learned a lot of that through movies, you know, and just through the CDs that she would play. She had CDs, so not old records and stuff. But yeah, and like MCs like Tupac, Eminem was huge. I love the way he shared his story and was very authentic. That inspired me to do the same, man. Snoop Dogg, I love Snoop growing up. Nas and yeah, those a couple.
That's a good portfolio of guys, man. Maybe in the same vein, who go, and maybe if you want to be pragmatic about it in the next couple of years or beyond, like who would be your prime time collab?
That's a great question, man. My prime time collab. Man, honestly, I've always wanted to do a song with Chris Brown.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do a song with Chris Brown, man. Like ever since he came out, he stayed with the heat. You feel me? I think we could make a banger together. So that'd probably be my prime time collab. Like if I did a song with Chris Brown, I'd be like, I did it. CB. Like, yeah, because I mean, Michael Jackson is gone, right?
Oh, true.
You know, James Brown is gone. You feel me? And when you look at artists like that, it's like, okay, who's existing that's up to that caliber? Hands down, it's C Breezy. You know, and I'm down to debate with anybody about that.
True.
Yeah.
You get a little Dicky collab, you know, wake up Chris Breezy.
Little Dicky's cold.
He is though. He is. Yeah, that's that he could have been the national anthem of my frat house a couple of years ago, honestly, man. Here's a place I want to bring this. You know, being where we're at, you know, I got my mask in my pocket, people. But you know, in the time we're in, you know, I guess the way I'd phrase it is, you know, how do you view your confidence and your feelings this year as opposed to maybe this time last year?
Honestly, it's been an extreme shift. It's been an extreme transformation. So much growth. Last year, I literally just the other day, actually, man, I made a status just stating how last year I was in a place of financial insecurity. I wasn't stable. I was dealing with homelessness, couch hopping. And a lot of my experiences with all my trauma and everything still eating me alive, I was suffering from depression. It literally got so dark to the point to where I literally didn't want to be here anymore. But by the grace of God, being able to express myself and having loved ones who authentically wanted to check in on me, I was able to push through, you know, and overcome those demons is what I call it. You know, it's all in the mind, like I said earlier, and begin to transform the way I think and my actions and my behavior. And then I started to see that play out in a physical form, man. And then, honestly, with the loss of George Floyd this summer too, like, I feel like personally for me, I really walked into a calling, you know, in response to that. Like, I was always doing social justice work. I was always organizing community, always speaking a positive message in my music. But when this happened, you know, and it happened right in our backyard, and just looking at how big it blew up, I really knew it was just time for me to walk into my power. So yeah, it's been a whole shift, man. Now I got my own crib, whipping now, you know, taking care, like I'm pretty stable. I got loved ones, and I can honestly say I'm happy now. I got good stress. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
No, so yeah, I agree with you, man. I feel like, you know, the legitimate murder that we all witnessed, you know, with what happened with George Floyd, you know, that was basically maybe just like the tip of the domino, like you said, and in a lot of people's lives, you know, just kind of being the tip of the domino and exploding what happened with the Black Lives Matter movement. And, you know, hearing your song on it, or would you consider a song, poem? It's both?
Yeah,
part.
both.
Yeah. Would you? What would you say, in terms of Black Lives Matter, what would you say are the biggest challenges that the movement as a whole is fighting that you could put into words? And then I'm also curious to hear, inside of the group Black Lives Matter, what kind of pressures, you guys are, focusing on internally as a group.
Yeah, I would like to say X that you guys. I'm not like a part of like the Black Lives Matter organization because it's became a brand, it's an organization. And it's honestly is really white operated as well, white owned and white operated. So
really?
Yeah. So like just knowing stuff like that is very bittersweet, and I'm a person who believes that we must live in a community that is colorful. We must live in a community that is diverse and inclusive. But I also understand that we must have like a personal experience before we can have a shared experience. And right now what I see in our life as Black people, my Black community is still very separated, still very divided, still very miseducated, and we need to really know our identity, and I think we can only do that if we really add more intention and build a authentic Black space that's Black owned and operated. So that's why I created my own movement, you feel me, with N4, new mindset, new media, new leadership, and new narratives. This is my collective, our organization, our movement, essentially, basically creating a society within society. And within the Black Lives Matter context, I've been able to develop a new state of mind to where I know I matter. I know I'm worthy. I know my power. So I understand racism can't affect me anymore. That's just like, that's a mental illness that the other side got to deal with. You feel me? Because that's like somebody super tall. That's like somebody shorter than you telling you like, oh, you shorter than me. Like, it don't make sense. Like, obviously I'm 6'5" and you 5'6". Like, why are you telling me like I'm smaller than you? Like, so it's one of those things. And that's not saying that I'm better than anybody or more superior than anybody. I'm not a believer in that. But I just think it's important for people to know their power that they have and understand that can't no system hold you back at all. And that's the power. That's the message that I tend to deliver.
Okay.
It's all wishy-washy, man. Like, cause it's so many. It's a lot of people who don't got the same intentions within the movement as well, and even our own people. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of wishy-washy things that happens in this social justice movement, and when we're too capitalistic, and we just think about money, it always deters the people from the mission.
I feel like any group as a whole, once you get beyond 20, get up to 40, 60, 70 people, that's just like human beings and a group in general, like that's too many people. Like, they're like out of 70 people in a group, that's too much complexity, that something's at play. You can easily pick someone out of there, and things can go awry if you're not watching it.
And what they say, it only take one bad apple to spoil the bunch, right? Yeah,
it's true.
They say that.
But it's but that's how. So you said it's N4.
Yeah, N4
gotcha.
Collective.
Sweet. And so you guys on social media, how are you guys presenting yourself to the world? I guess in terms of marketing.
Oh yeah. So right now we're on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at N4 Collective.
TikTok.
Not yet. I got to get some young people on the team that can do the TikTok, man. I'm getting kind of old. And honestly, I am getting to that point to where like team management is huge. You can't do everything by yourself. And I'm great with relationships, so I'm plugged into a lot of different people, and I'm at this transition in my life to where I just want to work in a team, a strong team, and have somebody take care of the social media and the marketing and stuff like that, and I could focus on the visionary stuff, because I'm always in the future. Like, I'm always thinking about the future.
Spoken like a true CEO.
Yeah.
Well, Lewiee, your work with N4, your work on stage that we've seen, there's a lot to learn about you. There's a lot I want to learn more about, man. If people are going to get to see more of your artistic capabilities, and again, man, I say it a second time, just learning from you, man. What you're doing with your organization, I'd love to see how that unfolds, man. I might have something with you saying that the system, saying your things about the system, because, you know, as the system, I feel like I am pretty unstoppable. But, you know, I feel like we'll work on it. I'm going to have my eye on you, man. Is there anything that you want to leave Prince and the people at home with before you get back to chopping it up on stage?
First of all, I gotta say this was an amazing interview. You know, very on the spot, very dope. You're a dope person. For the people at home that's all watching, what I would like to say to you now is, where have you been? Where are you now? And where are you going? Those 3 questions will be essential. A lot of us, we can get stuck in life at times, you know, but ultimately, if we can identify our history and where we come from, you feel me, and not be a victim of that, but understand it, you know, and appreciate it, and don't allow it to hold you back, you know, and you can be able to detach yourself emotionally from that past, then you can become present in the present moment, and you can be aware and anticipate and know your surroundings, you know, where are you at now in this physical sense. And then once you're at this point, then it gives you more room to think about the future, right? Because we can't go nowhere. We don't know where we've been, man. It's that spirit of Sankofa, you know, understanding where you come from, and that allowing you to get to where you need to go. So,
absolutely, man. Well, hell yeah. Chava's gonna chop us out. Lewiee, I appreciate it, my man.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, Drew. The system, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you in action someday.
Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see if I come out of retirement. We'll see.